Okay, Rozann, if you'll start us off on your series of photographs,
Okay.
and maybe if you want to comment on the next interviewee, your daughter-in-law, will tell us all about the plant dyes that she uses from some of the photographs of your natural plants and all. So go ahead, take it from there.
Okay. Well, I used to do a lot of landscape photography when we lived at Sea Ranch, and I did a lot of animals and the ocean and that sort of thing. And then 8 years ago, we moved to Seattle, and I just have not been inspired to do a lot of photography. And I went to pastry school and became a pastry chef, and now that's what I work doing, is baking all sorts of good stuff. But when Ling-Yan approached us and said, would you guys like to do a show? I thought, well, what could I photograph that would blend in with what Rachel is doing? So I did a lot of plants because she does a lot of plant-based dyeing for her weavings, which I'm sure she'll tell you a lot more about when she gets here. So instead of just doing flowers, I decided I wanted to do close-ups, and I wanted to do this long format. So these are 11 by 27, and get up as close as I could. And so that's yarrow, and that is sunflower. And then on the other wall, we have dogwood, and this dogwood actually blooms in my backyard, and it's just lovely. And this is a red poppy, a white poppy. This is some salmonberry, and then the other two are abstracts that have absolutely nothing to do with dyeing, but I just really liked them, and so I wanted to put them in. So.
Okay, wonderful. How about commenting on your brownie bake-off? Have you been involved in that at all?
Oh yeah, so last year Ling-Yan and I were having coffee at the White Cap Cafe, and I was telling her about this brownie recipe I'd come up with, and one of the other people came in and said, oh, I make the best brownies. And I said, no, mine are better. And he said, no, I make the best. And so we decided to do this. And I said to Ling-Yan, why don't we do a brownie bake-off when we do our opening? And that's what we did. And we have a lot of people here who are interested in participating. So what we're doing is when people come in, they can take a chip and they can taste all the brownies, and then they put a chip in the bowl for the one that they like the most, and whoever has the most chips will win a prize.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. But I figured that was a really good way to integrate what I'm doing now with my photography.
All right.
We have 6 entries for our brownie contest so far. Another one might show up, but this one is chocolate and cheesecake. This one is a caramel popcorn brownie. This one has cranberry with a hint of mint. And these are your classic blonde brownies. And these are bittersweet brownie with vanilla sauce if you want it. And it is vegan and gluten-free. And then we have chocolate brownies with whiskey, which I think is a very unfair advantage for this person. But we'll see what happens.
Great. Wonderful. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, Rachel, if you kind of walk us through your exhibit of dyed plants.
Oh, sure. So this piece on the wall here is called The Weather, and it is a wall-mounted warp that is layered with standalone pieces as well as some integrated weavings. And all of these ribbons were dyed with plants from my garden. So there are ribbons that are dyed with flowers like marigold and coreopsis and sulfur cosmos, as well as ribbons dyed with camellia trees. I have quite a few camellia trees, and in an interesting way, the branches and the leaves give different colors. So a lot of the peaches and pinks are from the branches of the camellia tree, and the yellows are from the leaves. So yeah, there's a lot going on this wall. Okay, great. The portion of this installation that was completed here over the last week are a lot of the lower parts of the weaving. So all of this I added over the past week, and this is something that I really enjoy doing because as I'm working on the weaving, I really get to kind of absorb the character of the space that I'm working in, and it's very, very reflective of the time and the place where it's made, which connects back to the plants that I've used to dye the fabric as well. This piece is particularly a favorite of mine. This is actually dyed with plants from my garden last summer. So I had a friend visiting. We walked through the garden. We used indigo and purple pincushion and hollyhock and some black-eyed Susans, and we just smushed the flowers into the fabric itself. It's a really tactile experience, and it is just so specific and rooted in place, and that is something that is very central to my work.
Wonderful. Great. Let's see.
So this collection of kind of puffy textural pieces are called chroma clouds, and this just started as an exploration for using up smaller lengths of ribbon that I have, and I made the armatures from aluminum wire and then just kind of treated it as a smaller version of these larger installations that I do, and was very intentional in choosing my color palette. And the majority of these individual chroma clouds are created with fiber from the same plant. So for example, this one is dyed with different types of fresh leaf indigo. This one is dyed with butterfly bush. And this one is actually dyed with red onion skins, which is one of the wonderful kind of tricky natural dyes that you can find. You wouldn't necessarily expect to get green from red onion skins, but you do, and it's so beautiful. And I really love making these smaller pieces because they're more accessible, and it's something that I can make in a shorter period of time, and it's portable. And I think it's a really lovely way to experience like the texture and intensity of the color.
Wonderful.